牧养牧师们。
And Asian outreach focuses on helping people who are poor or who do not know Jesus to find hope and to find life in Jesus, as well as provision financially.
当我们在亚洲宣教事工呢，就是给那些还没认识到耶稣的人有这样的机会去认识耶稣，能够在他们的金钱上、财经上也能够帮助他们。
So that's enough about me. I'd love to know about each one of you.
我也很期待能够认识这边的每一个人。
But there's probably not enough time for all of you to stand up and tell me about yourself.
我们可能不够这样的时间去认识每一个人。
But I'll be around afterwards and would love to meet you. If you'd like to remind me of your name and just to say hello, I'd be pleased to do that.
在教会结束的时候，我也很希望能够跟大家有这样子一个团契的时间。
Today I'd like to share a message with you which I believe can strengthen us as people.
我今天想带来一个讯息是能够增强我们。
I'm conscious there could be some people here who are not yet followers of Jesus.
我也清楚知道，我们当中有些人可能还不是基督徒。
I want to say to you, you are most welcome here.
我想跟你们讲的是，你们非常欢迎来到这里。
Because that's how Jesus responds to people. He says every person is welcome to meet with him and to experience his love.
就像耶稣在当时那时候也是欢迎每一个人到他面前。
Or you may have been a Christian for maybe not 50 years, but 20 years.
可能你是基督徒，可能20年、10年。
And I celebrate that with you.
我想跟你一起来庆祝。
The principles I'm going to share with you today will apply to someone who doesn't yet know Jesus, as well as to someone who has known Jesus for 50 years.
我今天想分享的信息能够应用在不管你是一个老基督徒还是还没有信主的人身上。
The slide that's come up is called Living a Healthy Pastoral Life.
上面是讲说要如何活的一个健康的一个牧者的一个生活。
I'll let you into a secret. I've shared these principles with pastors in many different places.
我想跟大家讲一个秘密，就是我有分享这个给各个教会的牧师们。
But they can apply to us as well.
但这也可以运用在我们的身上。
So let's look at the first step for living a healthy pastoral life.
那我们看第一步是什么？
Here's our question.
我们的问题是
How do we last a lifetime as a Christian?
我们要如何在我们的生命中去继续的成为这样子的一个基督徒呢？
What are the key ingredients and how do we live life with balance?
当中有一个因素就是我们要去平衡。
I was just talking with a lady yesterday.
我们昨天在跟一个女士在谈话。
I was at my neighbor's place and he's a Richmond supporter.
我在我的邻居家，他是那个 Richmond Tiger 的那个队伍的支持者。
And I'm a Richmond supporter too.
然后我也是一个 Richmond 的一个粉丝。
And so we were shouting and we were cheering and we were saying, "Go Tigers!"
所以我们那时候一直叫，一直在说加油。
And as we were celebrating the good news of Richmond winning,
那时候我们听到好消息，就是他们赢了。
one of the ladies who was there started speaking with me.
他当中里面有个女士就开始跟我讲话。
And so we just finished and it was celebration time and she said to me, I heard you said that your voice is a bit sore from cheering and yet you're going to be preaching tomorrow.
就是当比赛结束的时候，他听到我喉咙开始有点哑了，但是他跟我讲说，你不是明天要讲道吗？
That's why you'll see me drinking. I've got a lemon honey drink that the people here have kindly prepared.
所以他这边很感谢同工人帮我们准备一杯喝的。
And I said to the lady, yes, that's right. And she said to me, well, what sort of church do you preach in? Is it a born-again church?
他就跟我讲说，他是在什么样的教会来牧养，再去分享。
I told her briefly about you, but I knew really what she wanted to do was to tell me about herself.
但是其实虽然说他想问我问题，但是我其实想更多认识他。
And sadly, she had faced all sorts of challenges with the church about 30 years ago.
在30年前，他在教会也遇到很艰难的一个问题。
And she had all sorts of unforgiveness and pain in her heart because of what the church had done.
在他心里面一直都有这样子的一个难受，一个不饶恕的一个心。
And when her marriage broke up and the church did not support her, she rejected the church.
当他离婚的时候，教会没有支持他，他的心破碎。
And when her daughter was abused, when she was 25 and the church did not support her daughter, she rejected the church.
但他女儿被欺负的时候，教会并没有支持他，他就开始排斥教会。
But now this lady is 70.
现在这个女士现在已经70岁了。
And she said to me she had been suicidal.
她也跟我讲过，她之前有自杀倾向。
And I started talking with her.
我就开始跟她这样子的一个聊天。
And as I was listening to her, she said, "I've just come back from a holiday in the Mediterranean."
她跟我讲说，我之前才从地中海旅游回来。
And I've been by the beach up in Longreach.
我在那边有在海边。
And I've got lots of money.
我有很多钱。
And I'm doing really well physically.
我的身体也还不错。
But I feel as though my life is hard.
但我会觉得我的生命就开始支离破碎了。
Do you know what?
你知道为什么？你知道什么吗？
As I spoke with this lady,
当我在她聊的时候，
I spoke the same key ingredients that I'm going to share with you today to help her in her life.
而我也是运用这当中的一些要素来引用它在她的身上。
Now, it wasn't the setting for me to have a long conversation with her, so I talked with her fairly briefly, maybe 15 minutes or so, and then I offered my wife and I to be able to help her in the future.
在那样的环境，并不是适合一个很长的一个对话，但是我跟我太太邀请她之后，我们希望能够一起来跟她聊天。
But I want to show you both from Scripture as well as life experience why these principles work.
我想透过经文跟我自己的经验来跟大家讲说，为什么这些实用。
So we're going to 2 Timothy 4, verse 6 to 8. It says there, maybe, do you want to pop it up in Chinese? And then you can all read it together.
我们一起来读提摩后书第4章第6节到第8节。
Is that something we can do okay? Yeah. So,
第4到第8，提摩太后书第2章第4到第8。Is it 4 to 6?
For chapter 4, verse 6 to 8.
6 to 8。第4章第6到第8节。OK， 那我们一起来念。
Do you want to read it together?
OK。
Yeah, can. You go ahead and read it.
我现在被交奠，我离世的时候到了。那美好的仗我已经打过了，当跑的路我也已经跑尽了，所信的道我已经守住了。从此以后，有公义的冠冕为我存留，就是按着公义审判的主，到了那日要赐给我的，不但赐给我，也要赐给凡爱慕他显现的人。
So we see the reward that Paul is speaking to Timothy about what he is going to receive.
那时候保罗也跟提摩太讲说，他之后所领受到的一个应许，
Because he has been faithful to God.
因为他对神信实。
Let's go on to our next slide.
那我们看到下一页。
So as we go to our next slide, that's just a slide of my wife
这
there,
是我跟
Jane.
我太太。
You can say, "Hi, Jane."
他说 ：“Hello, Jane。”
I'd like to introduce her to you, but I introduce her to you on the screen.
我想透过荧幕来跟大家介绍她。
And just go across to the next slide. That's fabulous. Yeah. So I'm going to give you 6 key ingredients for a healthy life as a person and as a Christian.
我想跟大家讲关于就是如何成为健康的人的6个要点。
The first one is a healthy social life.
第一个就是有个健康的社交生活。
Do you have a healthy social
你
life?
有个健康的社交生活吗？
Have you got lots of good friends?
你是不是有很多很好的朋友？
Maybe some of you have got so many friends you don't have time to catch up with everybody.
说不定你有太多的朋友，你来不及一个一个跟他们聊天，
Or maybe you don't really have many friends at all.
或者是你没有很多朋友。
Let me define friends.
那我去定义朋友。
Friends are not people that you're friended on Facebook. Sorry.
朋友并不是你在 Facebook 上面的朋友，
You might have 2,000 friends on Facebook,
可能在 Facebook 上面有2000个朋友，
but normally, here's the test.
但其实这是一个试炼。
If you're going through a hard time or if you're in hospital, will those friends visit you?
当你在进医院或者受伤的时候，那些朋友会来看你吗？
If the answer is no, they wouldn't even know about it, then they're not true friends.
假如他们并没有的话，或者他们并不知道的话，那其实他们并不是真正的朋友。
Now, to have a healthy life as a person and as a Christian, it's to have a good community of friends around you.
当我们要成为一个健康的人，还是基督徒的时候，我们必须要有个围绕在一个很健康的一个朋友圈里面。
I understand many of you are students. Just give me a wave if you're a
知道你们
student.
当中很多是学生，
So if you're a student, then I want to encourage you as students not to be isolated.
我很鼓励你们，当你们还是学生的时候，不要被隔离出来。
By being here at church, you're not isolated.
当你在教会的时候，你并不是独立一个人的。
Over the more than 5 years I've known this church, I've always seen the people here really friendly, very welcoming, and they love to include other people.
当我在过去5年在这个教会的时候，我看到很多人就是彼此鼓励、彼此包容、彼此关怀。
I understand there's some cell group leaders here for the student group.
我知道学生组有小组长
Tracy and others, are there other cell group
有
leaders?
Tracy， 还有其他的小组长吗？
Is it just one? Is there anyone else?
对，
Yeah.
camp
They're all camping. Yeah, but you're also a
还
leader.
有 Paul。
Okay, Paul as well. So stand up those two leaders,
当你
if
们
you wouldn't
两个可以
mind,
站起来
Tracy
吗？
and Paul. Is there anyone else who's a cell group leader for students?
还有其他是学生组的
Or
小
they're
组
on
长
the
吗？
camp?
还是他们
Yeah,
都在营
they're on the
会？
camp. Okay, so these are two leaders. Just turn around and face the people. Yep, that's it. Yep, okay, you've seen Tracy already. And there's Paul. So if you're visiting, have a talk with these two.
假如你们只是来探访的话，欢迎你们能够跟他们一起来聊天。
And whether they welcome you to their group or they guide you to another group that's more suitable for you, they'll be able to look after you.
看他们能够把你们派到自己的组，还是他们会帮你带到其他的小组去。
I was a leader of cell groups or oversaw cell groups. Just stay standing for a minute. I was a leader of cell groups or oversaw cell groups for 32 years out of the past 34 years.
我在过去32年中，我其实有牧养很多小组，我自己也有看过很多，自己也是一个小组长。
Cell groups are a great place to do community.
小组的一个环境是非常适合我们大家一起来去建造我们的关系的。
And the word of the Lord to you, Tracy, is God is going to multiply the work of your hands.
神会倍增你的事工。
It's going to be like 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 2,
就像提摩太后书第2章第2节，
where Paul says to Timothy, and these things that you've seen and heard from me,
就像保罗跟提摩太说的，当你听到这些事的时候，
entrust to faithful and reliable people so that they also will entrust it to others.
当你要去信任他们，你要去委身他们，他们也会照样去为其他人来摆上。
So God is going to multiply the work of your hands and raise up other people around you to help you lead more students.
神会倍增你的工作，让他们兴起，能够一起来去带其他的人。
Allow him to guide you to people who love God and love people and can help you to do that.
能够让神来带领你去带领其他人，
Because I can see a vision of him doing
因
that,
为我看到这样的一个光景。
just as you give him your hands.
当你去奉献的时候
Amen?
，Amen。
God bless you, Tracy.
神祝
Let's
福
give
你
Tracy a
Amen.
hand
Tracy.
and the Lord a hand. You can be seated. Paul, what I saw God doing for you was he was starting to give you strategies.
Paul，那个从我看到神一开始会给你一些策略，
So strategies are kind of new ideas so that creatively you can reach out to more people.
并且透过有给你一个新的主意、新的一个想法，让你更有创造力的去接触更多的人。
There's something that you've been asking God about in your own life.
你也跟神求，在你的生命中，
And he said, he was speaking to me and he said, he has that under control.
神跟我讲说，他其实当中有掌管。
And he is saying to you, just as you're surrendered yourself to him and you're available to him,
当你在降服他的时候，
he's looking after that other situation.
他会来为你来去 管好其他的事情。
And he's going to give you strategies to reach out to more people that they can come to know Jesus
他会给你一些策略，让你去接触更多的人，
and they can grow in
而
Jesus.
他们一起来在耶稣里面成长。
God bless you, Paul.
神祝福你。
Amen. Let's give Paul a hand. So what we're talking about here is social, is community around us.
我们这边讲到是一个社交，是一个团体生活。
Let's just keep going to the next slide. In 2 chapter 4, verse 9 to 22,
让我们看提摩太后书第4章第9节，
we're not going to go through the whole passage,
我们不会全部都读。
but at the end of every one of Paul's letters, there's many comments about different people who are important to Paul.
当我们在看保罗的书信的时候，他在每个时候、每个结尾都会对他所关心的人、他所爱的人有一些留的一些言。
So here he's talking about Demas and Titus and Tychicus and Carpus.
Demas, Tychus 这些人。
And then he also, in the next slide, we'll see, he talks about Alexander.
他在这边也讲，在第18节，
He starts talking about other people who are important to him,
在同时也讲到这些他所关心的人，
like Priscilla and Aquila,
就像 Priscilla 跟 Aquila，
and like Erastus. Erastus, verse 20.
就在第20节，他那个人叫做 Erastus，
Trophimus,
还有这个叫 Trophimus，
Eubulus,
还有 Eubulus，
Pudens,
Pudens，
Linus,
还有一个叫 Linus，
Claudia.
还有叫 Claudia。
Do you see all of those people?
你有看到这些人吗？
They're all important to Paul.
这些就是对保罗是个非常重要的人们。
He names them all in Scripture.
在新闻里面，他一一的描述出来。
Turn to the person next to you and say, you're important too.
跟你旁边人说，你也是很重要的。
Turn to the one on the other side and say,
跟另一边的人说，
you're important too.
你也是重要的。
And now turn to yourself and say, I'm
跟
important
自己
too.
说，我也是很重要的。
See, that's how Jesus sees you.
那也是耶稣如何这样子看我们每一个人，
But he does that through community.
但他透过团体生活来跟我们这样子分享。
Do you know the saddest thing for me would be if after joining you this morning
让我们觉得很伤心的是，当我在结束今天的聚会之后，
and me talking with you this morning
在我们今天早上的这样子一个分享之后，
about the importance of healthy social life,
关于这个重要性，这个群体生活的重要性，
you go away feeling isolated.
你可能结束之后会觉得自己好像很孤单的。
There's a golden proverb that speaks about friendship.
经文里面有一章说是关于友谊，
And it says, if you want to have friends,
假如你要朋友的话，
show yourself friendly.
你要友善。
I'll say it again. If you want to have friends, show yourself friendly.
假如你想要朋友的话，你必须要展现自己友善的那一面。
So let me encourage each one of you,
那我现在鼓励这边的每一个人，
reach out and build friendship with other people.
大胆去跟别人聊天，并且跟他们成为朋友。
I know this is a safe church where you can do that.
我知道这边是个很安全的教会，让我们每个人都可以这样子做。
And if it's not and I hear about it, I'll deal with it.
假如并不是这样的话，让我来处理。
But we can look after one another
但我们可以彼此照顾，
and welcome one another into community.
并且能够欢迎大家来进入这样子一个团体生活。
Acts 2, verse 42 to 47 talks about a church that did that.
那我们再看到《使徒行传》第2章也有这样子的讲述。
Again, we're not going to read all the verses, but you can write the verses down to look them up later.
我们可以从这边写下来，我们之后可以回家看这些经文。
So it's Acts chapter 2, verse 42 to 47.
我们看《使徒行传》第2章第42到47。
And here it talks about them sharing in Bible readings, sharing food, sharing in prayer, and sharing in life together.
那么现在他们在彼此来分享他们的食物、他们的读经、他们的生活。
Let me tell you another story.
那我们跟大家讲另外一个故事。
My wife and I were involved in a ministry overseeing many hundreds and hundreds of people.
我跟我太太也有这样子一个事工，去看 差不多好几百个人，
In fact, a few thousand people.
其实有几千个人。
And we realized that we were not supported in relationship ourselves.
我那时候就发现，其实我们并在我们的关系中被支持。
So this was probably about 15 years ago.
差不多在15年前的时候，
So we decided to invite some friends to meet with us regularly.
所以我们邀请其他朋友跟我们一起定时的来跟我们一起聚会。
There were other friends that were also involved in ministry or mission work.
那时候也有其他朋友也有这样的一个事工跟服事，
Just 3 other couples.
就是有其他3对。
And the husbands and wives, they also had children similar age to ours.
那时候那些夫妻们也跟我们一样有差不多年纪的小孩。
So for more than 10 years now, we've been meeting with those people almost every month.
所以我们在过去10年，我们这样子一直持续性的每个月都跟他们见面。
We've seen one person there who's been suffering from terminal cancer.
我们那时候看有个人是有癌症，
But we've been able to support her through this journey.
我们也一起在这个旅程中，我们一起来支持他。
We've seen others with children who have had all sorts of hardships and challenges.
我们也看过这当中有很多孩子也经受到很多痛苦，
But we've been able to support one another.
我们也当中一起来去支持、去照顾他们。
Something that I seek to apply in my own life.
我想跟你们讲的就是我自己经常会在我生命中运用到。
It's the first ingredient for having a healthy life as a person and as a Christian.
这是第一个要如何成为一个健康人或者是基督徒的一个要素，
Is to have a healthy social life.
是要有一个健康的社交生活。
Our second one is to have a healthy physical life.
我们第二个是有一个健康的身体。
Now, it's so important that we are also healthy physically.
身体要健康其实也是相同的重要。
If we're smoking, that's not going to help us be healthy physically.
假如我们抽烟的话，那并不能让我们健康。
If we're drinking a lot of alcohol, that doesn't help us be healthy physically.
假如我们喝太多酒的话，那也不能帮助我们身体能够维持这样的一个健康。
If we drink 12 cups of coffee and drink 3 Red Bulls a day, help us be healthy.
假如我们一天喝12杯咖啡或是3杯红牛的话，这也不能够帮助我们健康。
If we eat 4 bowlfuls of pork a day, that's not going to help us to be healthy.
当我们一天能够吃4碗全部都是猪肉的话，这也是不能够让我们健康。
So we've got to choose to be healthy.
我们要去选择让我们自己先
We
健康。
also need to exercise.
我们也相同的也需要运动。
So I was regularly swimming and cycling.
我也是经常去骑脚踏车跟游泳。
But then I got the flu the past 3 weeks, so I've been taking a break.
所以我过去3个月其实我感冒，所以我之前可能就没有这样子了。
But I'm going to start back next week.
但是我下礼拜会开始继续我这样子一个健康运动生活。
Next time you see me, you can ask me, did I start back?
下次见到我的时候，你可以来问我说我是否有够回去。
So we need to be physically healthy to have a balanced life and also both as a person and as a Christian.
当我们身体必须要健壮的时候，必须可以维持我们生命中的这样的一个平衡。
Much research has been done about the importance of healthy sleep.
研究也显示出睡眠对我们其实也是重要的。
And it's important for us to have healthy rest and healthy sleep.
当我们也是知道这个很重要，就是让我们有足够的休息、足够的睡眠。
And the other area for our physical lives that I would mention is areas of intimacy.
同样的，我也想跟大家讲关于亲密。
Now, many of you are single.
很多人可能还是单身。
And so handling our sexuality and ourselves in terms of intimacy when we're single is a big challenge for us as Christians.
当我们还是单身的时候，要去掌握这样子一个跟人亲密的关系的时候，是一个很大的一个挑战。
My session today is not to talk about that.
我今天并不是要跟大家讲这些的，
I'm happy to talk about that another time.
我们可能下一次会再继续来延伸这个话题。
But I want to say to you, give ourselves away to boys as girls, thinking that that will build friendship.
其实这也是跟大家讲，就是女生也不要把自己
We're sorry. Yep, no worries. And we need to treat, if we're a boy, we need to treat the girls as sisters with all purity. And if we're girls, we need to treat the boys as brothers in
我
Christ.
们在主内，弟兄要跟姊妹要有尊重，要有保持一个尊重，然后女生对男生也是这样子。
No idea what he's saying, but I trust him. You know. Good on you, Johnny. So we need to treat each other with respect.
所以我们要对大家有这样的一个尊重。
And as we do that, we build friendships.
我们也是透过这样子能够来，
Who knows where those friendships could go?
就是当我们经历友谊的时候，谁知道这段友谊会延伸到什么样的一个关系？
I want to say to you, in a Christian community, that's one of the best places to build up healthy friendships.
我想跟大家讲说，在这样子的环境是非常好的，一起来跟大家彼此建造一个健康的一个关系。
And maybe one day to get married.
可能一天可能就结婚了，
Just look around you.
看左右看一看，
Your future wife or husband might be sitting near
可能
you.
未来的老公老婆就在这里。
I know some of you are already thinking, oh, yes.
而有些人可能心里面在高兴，
Stop those thoughts.
要先停一下。
I can keep hearing them. It's okay. So this area, though, of intimacy and being physically healthy is a really important area for us.
而我们自己对于亲密度跟我们的健康的一个身体，其实非常重要的。
Just out of fun, I'll do something to remind you of this.
我想跟大家一起来做一个测试，跟大家再去提醒一下这样。
So what we have to do, and Johnny will do it as well, just hold that for a sec, is we need to exercise. Okay. Let us catch our breath.
那我们一起喘口气。
But for us, it's important to remain healthy.
其实对我们来讲，保持一个健康身体是非常重要的。
I thought he could do it. I don't do that with all my interpreters.
我不是对每个翻译的人都这样做。
Take you to a Bible verse.
我想跟大家
As
分
we
享一个
catch
经
our
文
breath.，So in 1 Corinthians chapter 9,
跟哥林多前书第9章
verse 24 to 27.
24到27节。
What'd be good is if you've got a chance to do that in Chinese and you can all read it together.
假如有中文的翻译是很好，我们可以大家一起来读。Wasn't expecting that.
Of course, I didn't say.
OK， 假如大家准备好的话，我们一起来读，可以吗 ？OK， 3、2、1。岂不知在场上赛跑的都跑，但得奖赏的只有一人。你们也想这样跑，好叫你们得着奖赏。凡叫力争胜的，诸师都有节制，他们不过是要得到坏的冠冕，我们却是要得不坏的冠冕。所以我奔跑不像无定向的，我斗拳不像打空气的，我是攻克以身，叫身服我，恐怕我传福音。
So the thought of this passage is that we are to seek to look after our bodies.
这当中的经文是跟我们讲说，我们要去照顾好自己的身体。
And we're to run in such a way that we win the prize.
我们跑步就像要得胜一样的跑。
Now, if I looked across this room, there's maybe 40 or 50 people here.
可能这边有40-50个人在这里，
There's 40 or 50 prizes available for each one of you.
可能每个人都有4到50个奖赏。
What I mean by that is for every one of us, there is a different prize
对我们每个人，我们都有不同的奖赏，
because there is a different calling.
因为都有不同的呼召。
So for JJ, he's called to do one thing
可能
different to
是
me.
家俊可能呼召可能跟我不一样，
For Jeff, he's called to do something else different to JJ.
可能 Jeff 的呼召跟家俊又不一样，
For Bonnie, she's called to do something else separate to June.
可能俊跟 Bonnie 的呼召又不一样，
And yet, Bonnie is going to share that journey with Fong
然后
because they're married.
风跟 Bonnie 会一起来一起走这
I
样的。
didn't just match them up. And so each one of us has a different race to run.
所以我们每个人都有自己的赛跑去跑。
Your race may remain in Melbourne.
你的赛跑可能会留在墨尔本。
I know some of you as students want to stay here in Melbourne.
我知道有些学生想留在澳洲，
But sometimes you end up going back to China or Taiwan or Hong Kong or Malaysia.
但是有时候可能会回国。
You said those countries very
I
fast. I don't know if you said what I said, man. I'm on to you. I'm on to him. I'm watching him. I've done this enough. Yeah. Okay. So the thought is, though, each one of us has a different purpose and a different calling.
所以每个人都有不同一个命定跟呼召，
But we want to remain healthy physically.
但是我们还是想要在身体上面健壮。
So my challenge for you is to think for a moment.
我想给你们的挑战是，
Think about your social life.
去想想你自己的社交圈。
If you had to give yourself a score of 1 to 10,
假如你要给自己评分的话，
how are you going in your social life
你
right
的
now?
社交圈你会给1分还是10分呢？
If you've got lots of friends and they're supportive and healthy and good friends, then you give yourself maybe an 8.
假如你周遭有很多很好的朋友，我可能给自己打8分。
If you're feeling isolated and not doing so well, then maybe you give yourself a 1 or 2 or 3.
可能你觉得孤单的话，或是没有人的话，你可能就给自己1到2分。
Likewise in your physical life.
就像你的身体的一样，
I'd say in my physical life, I'm probably a 5 or 6 at the moment.
可能对我自己身体，我给自己5、6分。
I was about an 8.
我之前是8分，
But I've put on a little bit of weight and I've not been exercising as much and I got the flu.
或者我之前长胖了，或者我之前感冒了，让我现在能够变成5、6分了。
So over the next 2 months before summer, I've got a goal to become a bit more healthy.
所以在夏天来之前，我希望我有个目标，我要去达成。
What would you put yourself between 1 and 10 for healthy, for physical?
你会自己评几分呢？
Okay, so decide on those 2 scores.
来去想一下。
Now, next one, I want to give you the next ingredient to be a healthy person.
我跟大家分享另外一个要素。
Just before we do, we'll just go back to that Bible verse that we
我要
had.
回
That was
到
good.
之前那个经文，
I just want to highlight this Bible verse. It says here to love the Lord our God with all our heart, all our soul, all our mind, and all our strength.
跟大家一起来强调这个经文是，
Verse 30.
第30节，是爱你的，用全心，用你的灵，用你的身，用你的意来去爱你的神。
So it's our heart is our spirit,
我们的心是我们的灵魂，
our soul is our mind and will and emotions,
我们的灵魂是我们的心跟我们的一个意志，
heart, soul, and our strength is our physical health.
我们的心灵、我们的意志、我们的里面的内心是我们的这样子的一个健康的身体。
So in these areas, Jesus was teaching us in these areas as well, even back then.
在耶稣在以前的时候也是这样子教导的。
So let's go to our next one.
我们再往下一章，
Our third ingredient to be healthy.
第3个要素。
If you were here last week, I spent the whole week talking about our emotional health.
我上礼拜就是花整个主日来去讲说关于我们的心理的一个健康。
And I'm going to summarize my research that took about 18 months.
我跟大家一起来去简洁讲一下我之前所做的一个研究跟调查。
I wrote 200 pages in my research for my thesis.
我在我论文我写了200多页的这样一个研究。
It's now in over a dozen theological libraries in the US.
我现在这是在美国里面的那些图书馆里面的，或是那些 journal 里面都有。
I interviewed over 1,350 people, 200 books and so on, and found out what are the key ingredients for emotional health.
我那时候去跟很多人做研究，也去读过很多书，去了解什么是心理的一个健康。
And I want to give those to you.
我想跟大家分享这样的。
The first one
第一个是
is that we are authentic. We're honest to God and honest to ourselves.
我们是真实的，我们要对自己坦诚，对神也要坦诚。
So honest to God and honest to ourselves.
对神坦诚，对我们自己也要坦诚。
That's called authenticity.
那就是所谓一个真实，
That's the first ingredient for emotional health.
就是生理健康的第一个要素。
The second ingredient for emotional health is that we are transparent and vulnerable with trusted Christian friends.
第二个要素就是我们必须要跟其他的基督徒弟兄姐妹们透明，让自己能够敞开自己。
So we find people that we can share life with, as I was talking about before, and we're open and share with them how we're really going.
能够敞开自己，你去跟他们一起来这样子来分享。
And our third one is we find a community of people who accepts us for who we are and wants the best for us, where we belong.
第三个其实很重要的就是我们要去找，就是那些会接纳我们的人。
Why is this important?
为什么这很重要呢？
Because if we don't have emotional health, it's very hard for us to have spiritual health.
因为假如我们心理上没有个这样健康的话，我们在灵里面也不会有这样的一个健康。
This lady that I was talking with you about at the start of the message, she was struggling because her emotional world was all unhealthy.
就是我刚刚讲的那个女士，其实她为什么会这样子，是因为她在情绪上的其实是不健康的，
It was affecting every other area of her life.
并且影响到她生命的其他地方。
Let me show you a way you can test how you're going with your emotional health.
让我可以跟大家讲说如何去测量自己
In the
是否
next
情绪健康。
Bible verse, we see that.
我们在加拉太书里面会看到，
And you can look at this one and it says, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And so each one of those, we can measure ourselves about how well we're going in Galatians 5 verse 22 and 23.
我们在加拉太书第5章第22到23，它里面讲说，圣灵所结的果子就是仁爱、喜乐、和平、忍耐、恩慈、良善、信实、温柔、节制。这些就是我们可以去测量我们情绪健康度的一些标准。
So sometimes I say to myself, am I being more loving today than I was yesterday?
我经常会问自己说，我今天是否比昨天更爱人？
Have I got more joy in my heart and life than I did yesterday?
我有没有比昨天更喜乐？
Have I got more patience in my heart, or am I quite impatient right now with my family and friends?
我有没有对我的朋友、对我的家人比昨天更有耐心一点？
This can help us. You can go through each one of those, and it can help us to know whether we're healthy emotionally.
我们可以看这些所有的果子，并且去知道我们自己是否有个这样子一个情绪上的健康。
Give yourself a score between 1 to 10 in your own mind, or you can put it on your phone for your emotional health.
我们可以自己在心里面打分数。
So you've had firstly social, then physical, then emotional.
我们有一个关于社交的，关于身体上的，也关于一个情绪上的。
We've got 3 more,
我们还有3个要素，
and we're going to go fairly quickly,
我们要快点走过。
so that there's opportunity afterwards to pray for you if you would like
然后
that.
有这样的话，我希望透过之后的机会，能够为你们祷告。
Our next one is financial.
我们下一个是关于财经。
So for our financial health, that's a really important area for our lives.
我们自己个人的理财也是对我们自己也是非常重要的。
When I was first a Christian in my late teens, early 20s, I thought financial does not matter.
那时候在我20几岁的时候，那时候会觉得我自己的理财对我其实是我没有很在乎的。
My wife and I had saved up some money for a house deposit, and we lent it to the Bible Society so that they could use that money to send Bibles overseas.
所以那时候我老婆那时候有一个定存，她把房子借给那个圣经协会。
It meant we lost all the interest, but it meant the money was used for God's kingdom.
虽然说我们没有在当中获到利息，但是其实那是为着神摆上的。
Throughout our lives, we've always made our decisions not just on financial decisions, but on other areas of our life as well, my wife and I.
我跟我老婆过去我所做的决定，并不是单单依靠在我们自己的理财上所做的决定。
So that's why when I stepped out in ministry, without any financial support or financial backing, over 2 years ago now, I knew that God would provide.
当我在2年前我离开事工，当我没有任何的经济依靠的时候，我知道神会提供我。
But I have learned that the financial area is a really important area to have healthy in our lives as well.
我也知道在个人的理财方面是如何去建造我们自己的健康。
And I want to give you a Bible verse that guides us with how to consider the financial area.
我想给大家分享关于这方面的一个经文。
In Philippians 4, verse 10 to 13, we hear about this.
我们在腓立比书第4章第10到第13节。
So we see here, as we're looking it up, we see in verse 12, it says, I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I've learnt the secret of being content in any and every situation. Just verse 12.
所以我们在腓立比书第4章第12节，他们讲到，我知道怎样处卑贱，也知道怎样处丰富，或饱足，或饥饿，或有余，或缺乏，凡事随在，我都得了秘诀。
Just Philippians 4, verse 12, if you don't mind popping that
只要
up
腓立比书
in
第4章第
Chinese.
12节。
So that key of being content in every situation.
那个诀窍就是在每个地方都要满足。
In verse 12, it speaks about that so clearly.
第12章他清楚的这样子讲到。
And so I've learned sometimes when I don't have much money at all, I can still trust God.
但那时候我也知道说，就算我自己没有钱的时候，我也是一样可以去信靠耶稣。
I'm waiting for that wonderful time when I have more money than I know what to do with, and then I'll be giving thanks to God as well and trusting Him.
我也很期待那时候我有自己花不完、自己用不完的资源的时候，我也会把我自己向神来感谢。
Now you might be like me that you have $8 in your bank account. That's not me right now, but me once. $8 in your bank account and thinking, will I be able to pay for food? Will I be able to pay for school fees? How will I survive?
你们可能也像我之前一样，可能在银行账号并没有很多钱，你们也去想着怎么去买吃的，或者去生活一些简单的一些花费。
I believe as we put God first, He will guide us financially.
我相信，只要我们把神摆在前位的话，他会供应我们的。
Give yourself a score between 1 to 10. How are you going financially?
我们给自己打分数，从1分到10分，你觉得自己在理财上面是怎么样呢？
Our next one is our mental health.
我们最后一个是关于我们自己的心理素质。
Now, our mental health includes, it could be depression, it could be anxiety or stress.
可能是忧虑、压力，或者是有个压抑的心。
But it also includes that we are having learning for a lifetime, so ongoing learning.
所以我们这同时代表着我们必须花我们这一生来去学。
Wherever I go, I love learning new things.
不管我去哪里，我都喜欢去学新的东西。
I'll be going to India next month.
我下个月会去印度。
And whilst I'm in India, I'm ordaining some pastors.
我在印度的时候，我也会去
I'm praying for some pastors. Praying
我会
for
帮
some
一些牧
pastors.
师来祷告。
And as we call those pastors and set them into ministry, it's over 30 churches that myself and 2 others are overseeing in India.
我跟我2个其他的一个朋友或者跟同事，我们会去帮这些30个牧师祷告。
Those pastors also have community centers in India in the rural regions that help the poor.
这些牧师也有在一些比较乡村的地方，也有教会去服侍他们，去服侍当地的人。
I'm looking forward to learning from them how they do that.
我也很期待去从当中去学习他们是怎么样做的。
So I've got an approach that I always want to be learning from different people, different cultures, different people, different backgrounds.
我也有这样的方法去学习新的事情、新的文化、新的人事物。
Next Bible verse.
还有下一个经文是，
It says in Proverbs, at all costs get wisdom.
我们在箴言他这边讲说，
And-
花尽任何代价去得到智慧。
So the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom.
敬畏耶和华是智慧的开端。
This wisdom is what God challenges us to seek.
这个智慧是神想要让我们去得着的，
And then we are seeking God.
而我们去寻求神。
And even 2 Timothy 2:2 speaks about this.
我们在提摩太后书第2章第22节，他也这样讲到。
There's a misprint. It should say 2 Timothy verse 2, not verse 22, but don't worry. And it says, and the things you've heard me say in the presence of many witnesses, entrust to reliable people who are also qualified to teach it to others.
你在许多见证人面前听见我所教训的，也要交托那忠心能教导别人的人。
So what this is speaking about is that we would have wisdom to share with other people.
这当中也去跟我们讲，让我们必须要有智慧去教导其他人。
2 verse 2. Yeah, that's it. That's the one. Yeah, so we would have wisdom to share with other people.
我们有这样的智慧去分享给其他人。
Have you got people in your life who are sharing wisdom with others?
你在生命中自己的认识的人，有人会跟你去分享智慧的言语吗？
And they're sharing wisdom with you.
跟你分享。
This will help you to be a healthy person.
这会帮助你成为一个健康的人。
You might think the course I'm doing at the moment is not giving me wisdom.
可能你会觉得我现在学的课堂上学的东西，并没有给我智慧。
You know, sometimes we do courses just to learn how to study.
可能有时候我们在学习我们的一些课程的时候，我们只会去学到怎么去学东西。
I've studied various different degrees, and some of the study I've done has taught me how to study.
我有学一些学位当中，我们也其中有一些是让我们去学习如何去学习。
Now each year I teach in about 5 Bible colleges and I grade papers and essays and things because I've learnt, and I keep learning from my students.
因为我那时候一直在圣经学院再去教导，再去写论文，那是因为我一直都有在去学新的东西。
How's your mental health?
你自己的心理的素质是怎么样呢？
Give yourself a score of 1 to 10.
给自己打分数。
Okay, so we've had our social health.
我们有一个社交的一个健康。
Is there a word for social? I'm going to get you to say it with them. Okay, word for social in Chinese? Yeah. Okay, so everyone follow Johnny. Social health. I tried to give you a warning. Sorry, man. What's social health?
social health。
Friendships.
一个友谊的健康。
So friendships, yeah. So second one was physical health.
第二个是身体上的健康。
Third one was emotional health.
第三个是情绪上的健康。
Next one was financial health.
最后一个是理财上的健康。
Then this one is mental health.
这个是心理上的健康。
If you want more information about this, by the way, go to the Springboard Consulting Facebook page.
假如你想知道想知道更多关于这些的话，请到Springboard Consulting 的 Facebook page 上面。
And you will see on the Facebook page lots of information, both blogs and videos and other things that can help you with
这
this.
里面有很多一些文章跟一些留言跟一些帖子。
If you don't read English, you probably do, but if you don't read English, get someone to translate it into Chinese for you.
假如你还没有办法去读英文的话，可以请别人帮你翻译。
And then our final one we're going to put up on the screen
最后一个我们会在荧幕上面，
is our spiritual health.
是我们属灵的健康。
How's your spiritual health?
你属灵健不健康？
How's your relationship with Jesus right now?
你跟耶稣的关系是怎么样？
Do you feel really far away from Jesus?
你跟耶稣是否觉得很远？
Is Jesus not even part of your life?
耶稣是你生命中的一部分吗？
And maybe today I was just reading a Bible verse this morning that says, if we believe in our heart that Jesus Christ is Lord and speak it with our mouths, then we will be saved.
我今天早上读个经文，他在这边是讲到，假如我口里承认，心里相信，那耶稣就会在我们里面得到，耶稣就会在我们里面拯救我们。
If you've never given your life to Jesus before, today is a great day to do that.
假如你还没有被耶稣赎回来的话，今天是一个很好的一个机会。
And that can start your spiritual life to be healthy.
而今天就可以开始你这样的一个属灵的一个旅程。
We'll go to the final Bible verse
我们看到最后一个经文，
in 1 Corinthians 14, verse 1 and 3.
我们会来看哥林多前书第40章第1节。
It says, follow the way of love and eagerly desire the gifts of the Spirit. Yeah, there it is. It's up on the screen.
OK， 你们要追求爱，也要切慕属灵的恩赐，其中更要羡慕的是做先知讲道。
And then it says in 1 Corinthians 14:3,
我们在第14章第3节，
prophecy is given for strengthening, comfort, and encouragement.
预言会讲到关于健壮，会讲到关于我们心理上面的一个成长。
So spiritual gifts are given to build up other people.
我们在属灵的恩赐是其他人的。
So our spiritual health comes as we express those spiritual gifts.
当这些属灵的健康是我们当我们在恩赐的时候，
And as we take time to worship and draw near to God.
当我们一起来祷告，彼此祷告，彼此交流的时候，
This is how we grow our spiritual health.
这就是我们成长我们自己的属灵一个健康。
So the question for you is,
我们问题是，
where are you at in your journey with Jesus?
当你在跟耶稣一起的旅程的时候，你们到达是在哪里呢？
You feel now you're really close to Jesus.
你是觉得自己跟耶稣很靠近，
Then maybe you'd give yourself an 8 out of 10.
可能是你给自己打个8分。
Or do you feel as though, well, I've never actually met Jesus. My spiritual life has not been alive.
我可能还没遇到耶稣，可能我的属灵生命还没有开始，
Then maybe you'd give yourself a 1 or 2 out of 10.
可能给自己1到2分。
But you might find that today is a day that all changes.
可能今天就是那个改变的那一天，
The invitation's there for you.
邀请函已经到了。
So I want to encourage you to reflect upon these 6 key ingredients for a healthy life.
我想透过这样的一个时间，跟大家，请大家一起来去回应、去想，
To
我
be
刚
a
刚讲的6
healthy
点，
person,
去如何去变成一个健康的一个人。
we need balance in each one of these areas.
需要每个要素都有达到一个平衡。
We're going to finish with a worship song,
我们最后会有个回应诗歌，
and we're going to celebrate our spiritual life.
并且来去庆祝我们的属灵的一个这个生命。
If you'd all like to stand,
假如你们大家可以起来的话，
these guys sing beautifully. You don't want to hear me sing.
你们不想听我唱，他们都唱得很好，
So they're going to lead us in worship,
他们会带我们来一起敬拜。
and I'm going to be available to pray for you.
我也可以来帮你祷告。
If you want prayer for something specific, then you let me know.
假如你想为一些某些特定的东西来祷告，让我知道。
It might be one of these 6 areas.
可能是这6点的其中1点，
It might be you want to give your life to Jesus.
可能是想把自己献给耶稣。
We might just remove one of these rows of chairs. If Terry and Paul, some of the others, we can remove this front row of chairs.
把这边
And love to invite you to come on up for prayer.
希望邀请大家一起来到台前，
I'm going to pray a closing prayer.
来个结束，我会有个结束的祷告。
And with that closing prayer, let me pray for each one of you.
让我在这时候，让我们为每一个人来祷告。
And then I'm going to invite you to come up personally if you would like prayer.
假如想要被祷的话，我们邀请你到台前来。
So let's reach out to Jesus together.
让我们一起来敬拜耶稣。
I encourage you just to reach out your hands to Jesus like this if you would like to.
我们把手张开，
Loving Jesus, we reach out to you.
耶稣，我们把我们的手张开来向你，
And we acknowledge our need of you.
我们坦诚我们需要你，
And we pray that you would help us to have healthy lives.
我们来祷告，希望我们自己有个健康的一个生命。
lives that are lived for you,
一
Jesus.
个为你而活的一个生命，
Lives that, Father, put you first.
一个把你摆在第一位的一个生命。
Lord, that we would have a healthy social and physical life.
我说啊，我们真的是为着我们自己的社交健康跟我们的身体上的健康来祷告，
That we would have a healthy emotional and financial life.
并且我们在经济上，在我们的情绪上也有健康，
And that we would have a healthy mental and spiritual life.
并且在心理上、在属灵上也有相同的健康。
I pray blessing upon every person today.
我真的是为着每个人都能够有个祝福在这当中，
That you would fill them with your love and fill them with your spirit.
使你的爱充满这边的每一个人。
In the precious and loving name of
这样
Jesus.
祷告，奉耶稣基督的名，
Amen.
Amen。
尊贵荣耀君王，在全地之上，愿万民都信。